Yes, I'm live now. Welcome once again to another new video. This is Santu Shao and you are watching Shao's tutorial. So here I'm making the mock test for the upcoming MHSET on English literature, and I think everything is okay and I am audible and visible to all of you. So let's get into the video with these wonderful questions. And before starting the session, this is my humble request to all of you. Please do subscribe the channel and tap the bell icon to get more notification when I will go live. So here is your first question on your screen. Let's get into the video without delay. The first question is that on which play did Thornton Wilder receive Pulitzer Prize? So Thornton Wilder is an American playwright, and sorry, for which play did Thornton Wilder receive the Pulitzer Prize? Your options are Our Town, The Skin of Our Teeth, The Bridge of San Luis Bay, or none of these. So Thornton Wilder received the Pulitzer Prize in 1938, and he got the Pulitzer Prize for the play that is Our Town. So Our Town is right option over here. Moving it to here is the explanation here that Our Town is a 3-act meta-theatrical play created by the American playwright Thornton Wilder in 1938, and Wilder was awarded the 1938 Pulitzer Prize for drama. And Our Town tells the story of the fictional American small town of Roberts Corners between 1901 to 1913 through the everyday lives of citizens. And it is an essential play about how we must embrace and appreciate the value of life itself. And throughout Wilder uses a meta-theatrical device. So meta-theatrical devices have been used in this play, setting the play in the actual theater where it is being performed, and the main character is the stage manager, the stage manager of the theater. So Our Town won him the 1938 Pulitzer Prize for drama. Okay. Next question. Many of Arnold Bennett's novels are set in Essex, Potteries, or Midlands. So Arnold Bennett's many novels have been in Potteries. So here C is right option here. The setting of many of the novels of Arnold Bennett is Potteries, and many of Bennett's novels and short stories are set in a fictionalized version of the Staffordshire Potteries, which he called the Five Towns. So he also called this as the Five Towns. That is the version of the Staffordshire Potteries. Okay. Which of the plays mentioned below is not by Asif Karimboy? So the Restaurant, The Captives, A Touch of Brightness, Nalini, a comedy. So which of the plays mentioned below is not by Asif Karimboy? Asif Karimboy has written The Restaurant. The Captive was also written by Asif Karimboy, whereas A Touch of Brightness was also written by Asif Karimboy. But Nalini, a comedy, was not written by Asif Karimboy. Rather, it was written by Nizam Ezekiel. Nizam Ezekiel has written Nissim, Nizam Ezekiel has written this Nalini comedy. So here that a comedy in 3 acts, Nalini, a comedy in 3 acts, was published in the year 1969, is the only full-length play among the 6 plays written by Nizam Ezekiel, and it is based on the playwright's personal experience and observations. And Nizam Ezekiel has worked as an art critic of Times of India and also as a manager in Simply Advertising. Okay, Strafford is a play by Tennyson, Browning, Matthew Arnold, Oscar Wilde. So Strafford is a play written by Robert Browning. Robert Browning has written Strafford. So B is right option over here, and it's a tragedy published in the year 1837. The British writer Robert Browning, and it portrays the downfall and the execution of Lord Stafford, the advisor of Charles I, shortly before the English Civil War. So Strafford is a tragedy written by whom? It was written by Robert Browning in the year 1837, and it is about the downfall, the execution of the Lord Stafford, who was the advisor to Charles I, and he was executed shortly before the Civil War. Moving on to the question number 5. Shaw has dealt with the problem of organized prostitution in his play. So name the play. Shaw has dealt Name the play. Shaw has dealt with the problem of organized prostitution. Name prostitution in its play. Name the play. The Philanderer, Mrs. Warren's Profession, or The Millionaires, or The Devil's Disciple. So here the right option is dealing with the organized prostitutions, and the name of the play is Mrs. Warren's Professions. So B is right option over. B is right option over here. Mrs. Warren's Profession is a play written by George Bernard Shaw in 1893, first performed in London 1902. The play is about a former prostitute, now a madam brothel proprietor, who attempts to come to terms with her disapproving daughter, and it is a problem play offering social commentary to illustrate Shaw's belief that the act of prostitution was not caused by moral failure but by economic necessity. And elements of the play were borrowed from Shaw's 1822 novel, that is The Castle Baron's Profession, about a man who became a boxer due to limited employment opportunities. Next questions. The Conscious Lovers. Conscious Lover is a prose comedy written by William Wycherley, Congreve, Richard Steele edition. So the Conscious Lover is a prose written by Richard Steele. Richard Steele has written The Conscious Lovers. Conscious Lover is a sentimental comedy written in 5 acts by the Irish author Richard Steele, and The Conscious Lovers appeared on stage 7th November 1722 at Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, and was an immediate success with an initial run of 18 consecutive nights. Okay, The Conscious Lover was written by Richard Steele, and it was a sentimental comedy. Okay, moving ahead to the question number 7 here. Which of the works mentioned below is not by Dr. Radhakrishnan? Which of the works mentioned below is not by Dr. Radhakrishnan? An Idealist View of Life. This was written by Dr. Radhakrishnan. Our Heritage was also written by Dr. Radhakrishnan. The Essentials of Indian Philosophy and Politics and Culture. Politics and Culture was written by Dr. Radhakrishnan, whereas The Essentials of Indian Philosophy was not written by Radhakrishnan. So here C is right option here. Radhakrishnan has not written The Essentials of Indian Philosophy, and this was written by Mysore, Haryana. So The Essentials of Indian Philosophy provides a concise, connected account of Indian philosophy, and interpretations and criticisms are provided within the limits of the volume. And The Essentials of Indian Philosophy, that is a book by Mysore, Haryana. So here it is C is the right option, which was not written by Dr. Radhakrishnan. So The Essentials of Indian Philosophy was not written by Dr. Radhakrishnan. Moving on to the question number 8 here. Love Among the Artists is a dash by Bernard Shaw. So a play, novel, lecture, short story. So Love Among the Artists is a autobiographical novel by G.B. Shaw. So here novel, it's a novel. So Love Among the Artists is an autobiographical. It's an autobiographical novel by G.B. Shaw. So here B is the right option over here. And Love Among the Artists autobiographical novel was published in United States in 1900 and in England 1914, but it was written in 1881. Okay, moving on to question number 9 here. Who is regarded as the father of neo-romantic poetry of the 1940s? So W. Warden, Robert Breeze, Dylan Thomas, Christopher Isherwood. So here father of neo-romantic poetry of the 1940s is Dylan Thomas. C is the right option over here. Next question. Who is the narrator of the Anne Bronte's novel, that is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall? The narrator of the Anne Bronte's novel, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Your options are Helen Lawrence Huntingdon, Jane Wilson, Gilbert Markham, Arthur Huntingdon. So here the right option is Gilbert Markham. Gilbert Markham is the narrator of Anne Bronte's novel, that is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Okay, moving ahead to the and here is that Gilbert Markham, a 24-year-old farmer, is the principal narrator of the novel, that is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, and it was written by Anne Bronte. Moving ahead to the question number 11. Which of the novels mentioned below is not by Theodore Dreiser? So which of the novels mentioned below is not by Theodore Dreiser? Your options are Sister Carrie. Sister Carrie is written by Theodore Dreiser. An American Tragedy. This was also written by Theodore Dreiser. Whereas Titan was also written by The Titan was also written by Theodore Dreiser. Whereas the American was not written by. So here C is right option. C. That is American was not written by Theodore Dreiser, and it was rather written by Henry James. Henry James has written The American. So Henry James, The American. The American is a novel The American is a novel by Henry James, originally published as a serial in the Atlantic Monthly in 1876, 1877, and then as a book in 1977. And the novel is an uneasy combination of social comedy and melodrama concerning the adventures and the misadventures of Christopher Newman. So yeah, the adventure and the misadventures of Christopher Newman. So the American is a novel by Henry James. And Sister Carrie, an American Tragedy, and The Titan. These are the works written by Theodore Dreiser. Okay, moving on to the question number 12. Bernard Shaw was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1913, 1925, or 1926, 1930, 1940. Actually, the right option is 1925. And in 1923, where that is William Butler, it's got Nobel Prize. In 1923, William Butler, it's got the Nobel Prize. And 1925, it was G.B. Shaw. And here is the explanation here that G.B. Shaw received his Nobel Prize 1 year later. Actually, what happened? G.B. Shaw received his Nobel Prize 1 year later in 1926. The reason is that during the selection process in 1925, the Nobel Committee for Literature decided that none of the year's nominations met the criteria as outlined in the will of Alfred Nobel. That's why he got the Nobel Prize 1 year later, that is in 1926. So, which of the following fictional works by Oscar Wilde contains a preface where Oscar Wilde explains the purpose of art and role of the artist in society? So, there is a fictional work by Oscar Wilde and it has a preface, and in that preface, Oscar Wilde has explained the purpose of art and the role of the artist in the society. Now, you will have to identify that work. The Canterville Ghost, The Picture of Dorian Gray, The Selfish Giant, The Devoted Friend. So here the right option is The Picture of Dorian Gray. So here the fictional work, The Picture of Dorian Gray, is the right option here. And here is the explanation here that the preface offers one of the Wilde's most famous aphorism, that is, there is no such thing as moral or an immoral book. Books are well written and badly written, and that is all. So these lines, this most aphorism, the famous aphorism, appears in the preface of The Picture of Dorian Gray, and it is read as there is no such thing as a moral or an immoral book. Books are well written and badly written. That is all. Okay. Next question. What is the name of the flying island in Swift's Gulliver Travels? Your options are Gladstone, Laputa, Mildando, or Balnibarbi. So the flying island in Swift's Gulliver Travels is Laputa. So B is the right option. Laputa is the flying island. Question number 15. In The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, what does letters and documentaries symbolize? In Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, what does letters and documents symbolize? Window to the character's motives, or argues against invasion of privacy, creates an atmosphere of suspense and mystery, or importance of epistemology. So Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the letters and documents in that novel is symbolizing, creating an atmosphere of suspense, and mystery. C is right option over here. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Gothic novella by the Scottish author Robert Louis, that is Robert Louis Stevenson, and published in the year 1886. Okay, moving on to question number 16. The imaginative writer is after effect, the scientific man is after truth. Which American writer has said this? The imaginative writer is after effect and the scientific man is after truth. H.W. Longfellow, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, or Oliver Wendell Holmes. So it was told by Oliver Wendell Holmes. Here D is right option here. Oliver Wendell has said that the imaginative writer is after effect and the scientific man is after truth. Next question. 17. Dramatic Opinions and Essays. Dramatic Opinions and Essays is a critical work by Charles Lamb, William Hazlitt, Bernard Shaw, T.S. Eliot. So Dramatic Opinions and Essays, this is a critical work written by G.B. Shaw. G.B. Shaw has written, Bernard Shaw has written Dramatic Opinions and Essays. In several of her novels, The House of Mirth, like The House of Mirth, The Custom of the Country, Hudson River Bracketed. So these are novels written by Edith Wharton. Edith Wharton has written novels like The House of Mirth, The Custom of the Country, and Hudson River. And Edith Wharton has dealt with which setting? New England, New York, New Jersey, New Haven. So here Edith Wharton has dealt with New York. New York is the right option here. New York is the right option. In several of our novels like The House of Mud, The Custom of Country, and The Hudson River, Edith Wharton has dealt with the setting, the place that is New York. The exact name is a collection of poems. The exact name is a collection of poems written by A.K. Ramanujan, Pritish Nandi, Nazim Ezekiel, Purushottam Lal Pillai. So the exact name is a collection of poems written by Nazim Ezekiel. Nazim Ezekiel has written the exact name. Exact name C is the right option over here. C. Okay. Dear son of a memory. Dear son of a memory, great hire of fame. This has been said by Milton. Said by Milton about whom? So your options are Shakespeare, Chaucer, Spenser, none of this. Spenser, none of this. Dear son of a memory, great hire of fame. This has been said by Milton about here the right option is Shakespeare. Shakespeare. Milton has said this about Shakespeare. So A is the right option over here. Next question. He is the greatest comic novelist in English, and he is also the most truly poetic novelist. About whom has this been said by Walter Allen? Walter Allen has said this line that he is the greatest comic novelist in English, and he is also the most truly poetic novelist. Your options are Henry Fielding, Charles Dickens, Oliver Goldsmith, or Meredith. So the right option is Dickens. Walter Allen has told these lines about on Dickens, on Charles Dickens, the victim novelist. Which of the following is a play by John Keats? It is the lesser known work by John Keats. Remember that John Keats has also written a play, and you will have to here identify that play. King Lear, Otho the Great, King John, King Alexander. So this is a lesser known, very important work that, and John Keats has written a play that is called Otho the Great, and B is the right option here. John Keats written a play, and the name of the play is here Otho the Great. Otho the Great, and its subtitle is a tragedy in 5 acts. Tragedy. Otho the Great, a tragedy in 5 acts. This was written by John Keats. Moving on to the question number 23. Charles Lamb, the great essayist, also wrote a play. So here we saw that Keats has written a play, that is Otho, and here Charles Lamb, the essayist, has also written a play. You will have to identify that play. Dream Children No, John Woodville, South Sea House, The Sensi. So Charles Lamb has written the play, and the name of the play, this is the lesser known work by Charles Lamb, and this is the right one is here John Woodville. John Woodville is the play that was written by Charles Lamb. B is right option over here. Now the remark that I think her as delightful a creature as ever appeared in print has been made by Jane Austen. About whom? So here this is the remark, and it was told by Jane Austen. She has written this, and she has told this that, or she has written this that I think her as delightful a creature. I think her as delightful a creature as ever appeared in print. So she's actually praising the character. You'll have to identify the character, the female character. Emma, no. Elizabeth Bennet, Lady Bertram, or Anne Elliot. So the right option is Elizabeth Bennet, who is representing prejudice in the novel Pride and Prejudice, whereas Pride is being represented by whom? By the character Darcy, the main protagonist, and prejudice is represented by the character Elizabeth Bennet. And here Jane Austen is talking about Elizabeth Bennet by this line that I think her as delightful a creature as ever appeared in print. So here B is right option. Moving on to question number 25. The Castle Rackrent. This is the first novel. This is the first novel by whom? The Castle Rackrent was the first novel by Walter Scott, Maria Edgeworth, Anne Radcliffe, or Jane Austen. So Castle Rackrent was the first novel written by Maria Edgeworth. Maria Edgeworth has written the novel Castle Rackrent. So here B is right option. And Castle Rackrent is a short novel by Maria Edgeworth published in 1800. Unlike many of our other novels which were heavily edited by her father before their publication, the published version is close to her original intention. And the novel is set prior or previous to the Constitution of 1782. It tells the story of the 4 generations of Rackrent heirs through their steward Thady Quirk. So here, this is the explanations here. Which novel of Virginia Woolf has been regarded as prose poem? So Virginia Woolf का एक poem है that is regarded as prose poem. Virginia Woolf का एक poem जो that is regarded as prose poem. Your options are The Years, The Waves, Mrs. Dalloway, or Flash. Here the right option is The Waves. The Waves is the novel that is regarded as a prose poem. The Waves is written by Virginia Woolf. So B is the right option here. And the Waves, look at here, that the Waves was published in 1931. It's considered Virginia Woolf's most experimental novel because of the poetic nature of its prose. In fact, it is often referred to as a prose poem. So the Waves, a novel that is regarded as a prose poem, and it was published in the year 1931. Next question. The liberal imagination. The liberal imagination, important work, is a critical work by Alan Chetno, Lionel Trilling, R.W.B. Lewis, or Willard Thorpe. So the liberal imagination is a critical work, and this critical work written by Lionel Trilling. Lionel Trilling has written the liberal imagination. So B is right option over here. The liberal imagination, and its subtitle, that is Essays on Literature and Society, and this work was published in the year 1950. So the liberal imagination, Essays on Literature and Society, and this work was published in the year 1950, and it is a collection of 16 essays. It's a collection of 16 essays. 16 essays. Okay, by American literary critic, that is Lionel Trilling, and it was published by Viking publishers in the year 1950. Moving on to question number 28. The Tender Husband, The Lying Lover. So these are works written by Richard Steele. You have to identify the genre of the essays, plays, or prose comedies. The Tender Husband, The Lying Lover, these are works written by Richard Steele, and these are actually plays. These are plays written by Richard Steele. Moving on to question number 29. Cyclone in Pakistan. Cyclone in Pakistan is a poetical work by Monica Verma, Suniti Namjoshi, Kamala Das, and Mamta Kalia. So Cyclone in Pakistan is a poetical work written by Suniti Namjoshi. B is right option here. B. Suniti Namjoshi has written the poetical work that is called Cyclone in Pakistan. Distant Drum, the novel by Bhavani Bhattacharya, Manohar Malgankar, Raja Rao, Vikram Seth. You know that Distant Drum is a novel written by Manohar Malgankar. Manohar Malgankar, the Indian novelist here, he has written Distant Drum. So B is right option. Iron Hill is a socialist novel. Iron Hill is a socialist novel written by which novel? Stephen Crane, William Dean Howells, Mark Twain, Jack London. So the Iron Hill is a socialist novel, and this work was written by Jack London. Jack London has written the Iron Hill. Here is the explanation. The Iron Hill is a political novel in the form of science fiction by American writer Jack London. So Jack London is an American writer. It is in the form of science fiction, and it is published in the year 1908. Next question. Razarov's novel, Comrade Kirillov. Razarov's novel, that's a very important novel here. Comrade Kirillov was first published in which language? English, Hindi, Tamil, French. Razarov's novel, Comrade Kirillov, was first published in French. So here D is right option. It was first published in which language? It was published in French. So French is right option here. Next question. Which of Dickens' novels deals with the life of circus child Sissy Jupe? So Sissy Jupe is a character in which novel of Dickens? So Martin Chuzzlewit, Little Dorrit, Hard Times, Bleak House. So you know that Sissy Jupe is the daughter of a circus player, and the right option is here Hard Times. Hard Times is the right option. So here C is right option. Hard Times. In Hard Times, the child Sissy Jupe appears. C is right option over here. Moving at here is the explanation. Sissy is the daughter of a circus performer who comes to live with the Gradgrins as a servant when her father abandons her, and she is naturally good and emotionally healthy. So the Gradgrin philosophy does not affect her, and she is able to take care of Louisa and to arrange Tom escape. Edward Bulwer Lytton's novel The Coming Race, which satirizes Darwin's theory of evolution, is a work of social fiction, science fiction, utopian fiction, none of these. So here, Edward Lytton's novel The Coming Race is satirizing whose theory? Darwin's theory of evolution. And this is a work of science fiction. B is right option here. The Coming Race is a novel by Edward Bulwer Lytton, published anonymously in 1871. It has also been published as Vril, The Power of the Coming Race. Some readers have believed the account of a superior subterranean master race and the energy of form called Vril, at least in part. Some there is Theosophists, and notably Helena Blavatsky, William Scott Elliot, and Rudolf Steiner accepted the book as based on occult truth in part. And one 1960 book, that is The Morning of the Magicians by Jacques Bergier and Louis Wells, suggested that a secret virile society existed in Weimar, Berlin. Which pre-Raphaelite poet has been discussed by Walter Pater? Which pre-Raphaelite poet has been discussed by Walter Pater in book Appreciation? So Appreciations is a book done by Walter Pater, and there he has discussed a pre-Raphaelite poet. Who is he? Maurice, Coventry Patmore, D.G. Rossetti, none of these. So here the right option is D.G. Rossetti. In Appreciation, written by Walter Pater, here Walter Pater, in that work, Walter Pater has discussed D.G. Rossetti. C is right option over here. Swift's The Battle of the Books. Swift's The Battle of the Books deals with the dispute between Swift and Arbuthnot, Church and State, the ancients and the moderns, or Whigs and Tories. So Jonathan Swift, The Battle of the Books, is dealing with the ancients, the dispute between the ancients and the moderns. C is right option as C, the ancients and the moderns. In which novel of his has Anthony Trollope parodied Thomas Carlyle and Dickens? So, in which novel Thomas Carlyle, that is Anthony Trollope, has parodied, that is Thomas Carlyle and Charles Dickens? Your options are Barchester Towers, The Warden, The Prime Minister, none of these. So, the right option is The Warden. The Warden is the novel where Anthony Trollope has parodied Thomas Carlyle and Charles Dickens. Here are the explanations here. For instance, The Warden is the work written here by Anthony Trollope. It is parodying Dickens as Mr. Sentiment. So Dickens as Mr. Sentiment, who within Trollope's story writes novel that grossly exaggerates and the malfeasance of all Trollope's characters, as well as the bombastic social critic Thomas Carlyle, whom he names Dr. Pessimist Anti-Cant. So Thomas Carlyle is represented as Dr. Pessimist Anti-Cant, whereas here Dickens is represented as Mr. Sentiment in the novel The Warden, written by Anthony Trollope. 38. Which prominent political figure of Swift's time is represented by Philnap, the treasurer, in his Gulliver Travels? So Swift's Gulliver Travels, in that work, which prominent political figure of England is represented as by Philnap, who is a treasurer? Philnap, the treasurer. Your options are Sir William Temple, no. Bolingbroke, no. Robert Walpole, none of this. Walpole. So the right option is Robert Walpole. Robert Walpole is represented as Philnap, the treasurer, in the work Gulliver Travels by Swift. Moving on to the question number 39. On Liberty, is by John Stuart Mill, is a play, poem, essay. So On Liberty is actually an essay. Essay is the right option here. C is the right option here. Where are the explanations? That On Liberty is a philosophical essay by English philosopher John Stuart Mill, published in 1859. It applies John Stuart Mill's ethical system, that is of system of utilitarianism, to society and state. And Mill suggests standards for the relationship between authority and liberty. He emphasizes the importance of individuality, which he considers prerequisite to the higher pleasures, the summum bonum of utilitarianism. Moving at the question number 40. Which of the following novels is not written by Fanny Burney? Evelina was written by Fanny Burney. Cecilia is also Evelina. Cecilia is also written by Fanny Burney. Camilla was also written by Fanny Burney. Whereas Amelia was not written by whom? Amelia was not written by Fanny Burney. Rather, it was written by Henry Fielding. Henry Fielding has written Amelia. So here is the explanation. Amelia is a sentimental novel written by Henry Fielding, published in December 1751, and it was the fourth and the final novel written by Henry Fielding. So these were 40 questions I have discussed along with the explanation. Thank you once again for watching the video, and this is my humble request again to all of you. Please do subscribe the channel and tap the bell icon to get more notifications. And it is because when I will go live, you will get all the notifications. And again, subscribe the channel. And if you want me to make a video on any particular topic, you can write me down, you can suggest me in the comment box. I will definitely try my 100% best to make video on this topic. Thank you once again for watching the video, and